Most people grow up believing certain ideas about money, ideas that sound reasonable, even logical. But what if many of these beliefs are actually completely wrong? They lied about money. 10 myths costing you freedom. Most people grow up believing certain ideas about money, ideas that sound reasonable, even logical. And what I keep hearing, over and over, are the same old myths dressed up as truth. Today, I want to pull those garments away, not to embarrass anyone, but to set you free. There's a difference between what we were told and what actually works. Let's begin with that difference. In this video, we're revealing 10 lies about money that millions of people still believe today. Understanding these myths could completely change how you think about wealth. I'll walk you through each falsehood, explain why it persists, and show the practical truth that replaces it. We'll look at people who built wealth with patient habits rather than flashy income, and we'll meet examples of simple decisions that compound into financial freedom. I narrate from a place of observation and humbling experience, because myth dies when faced with a clear, honest plan. The path to freedom is often quieter than we imagine. Expect calm, steady pacing, like a map drawn for a long walk rather than a sprint. Visuals will shift every few seconds. City skylines, close-ups of hands, writing budgets, the slow rise of a compounding graph. Subtitles will highlight the phrases you need to remember, bold and succinct. The music will carry you forward, modern and motivating, never intrusive. Stay with me. This is more than a list. It's a reckoning, a countdown, and a promise that you can change how money works for you. Lie number 1. You need a high salary to become rich. They tell us, often with conviction, that a high salary is the ticket to wealth. I remember people equating paychecks to destiny, as if the number beside your name were a prophecy you could not rewrite. But income is simply one input, not the whole equation. Wealth is accumulated through choices, saving, investing, discipline, and time. I've met teachers, I've met nurses, who built lasting fortunes by directing modest incomes toward compound returns. The real engine is how you allocate each dollar. Imagine one person with a six-figure job who spends every bonus, and another with a middle-class salary who invests consistently. Compound interest cares little for titles and much for time and contribution. The wealthy often leverage multiple income streams. They also practice restraint, choosing assets over liabilities. High income can accelerate progress, but without discipline, it becomes a magnified version of the same mistakes. In short, salary is potential. Behavior determines outcome. See salary as fuel, not the destination. Pay increases should feed investment, education, and systems that grow your money. Living below your means is functional strategy, not moralizing. Wealth built this way isn't flashy, it's durable. It doesn't depend on a single job, but on routines that compound. Ordinary paychecks become extraordinary over decades. Practical steps: automate savings, prioritize investment accounts, resist lifestyle inflation, measure net worth, measure cash flow. Those measures tell the true story. Direct money with intention, and the need for an astronomical salary fades. When you hear only the highly paid can build wealth, challenge it. Look at compounding, disciplined saving, smart allocation. The road to freedom is built one steady decision at a time. Start today. Whatever your salary, the math will work for you. Lie number 2. Saving money will make you wealthy. Saving is praised like a virtue. It feels responsible and safe. I do not dismiss saving. It's the foundation. Yet cash in a jar or a zero-interest account sits still while inflation erodes its value. Real wealth grows when money is put to work, not when it merely waits. The distinction is clear. Saving preserves capital. Investing multiplies it. Think of savings as your emergency brake, and investments as the engine. A few months of expenses in a liquid fund prevents catastrophe. Beyond that, excess cash is an opportunity cost. Stocks, bonds, real estate, business ventures, vehicles that can outpace inflation. Fear of loss and fear of complexity keep many frozen, and money stagnates. Understanding risk, time horizon, and diversification transforms fear into informed action. Protecting savings is wise. Overprotecting can trade growth for the illusion of safety. Use savings for emergencies and near-term goals. Use investing for growth and wealth creation. Learn diversification, prioritize low fees, and keep a long view, better than reacting to daily noise. Keep an emergency fund, then automate contributions into diversified, low-cost investments. Education matters. Small steps taken consistently compound over time. Don't let saving become an excuse for inaction. Wealth is not the cash you hoard. It's the value your resources create over years. Safety without growth is postponed progress. Let your money work for you, thoughtfully and patiently. Lie number 3. Rich people are just lucky. When we see someone successful, it's tempting to call it luck and move on. It absolves us of looking inward. But labeling success as luck ignores preparation, persistence, pattern. I've watched entrepreneurs fail, persist, and refine until habits and choices finally tip the scales. The truth is a tapestry of small, disciplined acts woven over years. Luck may sprinkle advantage. Habits build the fabric. Wealthy people often share traits: long-term thinking, curiosity, consistent learning, unwillingness to be distracted by short-term applause. They plan for decades, not months. They take deliberate actions. Save, invest, test ideas, solicit feedback, refine. These aren't glamorous. They're repeated faithfully. When results emerge, outsiders call it fortune. Over time, decisions compound like interest. Compounding looks like luck until it isn't. If you want to emulate success, focus on what you control. Save systematically, read deliberately, network intentionally, invest consistently, build feedback loops, create environments that favor your long-term self. Small, repeated actions yield large consequences. Turn attention into action. The accumulation will look like good fortune because you made it so. Debt has a bad reputation, and, often deservedly so. High-interest consumer debt can crush a household and steal years of opportunity. But the moral absolute that all debt is evil robs you of useful tools. Debt that funds consumption versus debt that finances productive assets. Strategic debt can be a lever that multiplies capacity to create wealth. Mortgage, reasonable business loan, ownership or expansion today, potential cash flow tomorrow. Borrow when expected return exceeds the rate, with controls in place. What kind of debt? At what rate? For what purpose? What controls? Reckless borrowing is ruinous. Strategic borrowing can be catalytic. Understand interest rates, amortization, tax implications, worst-case scenarios. Use debt as a tool, not as an emotional shield or avoidance strategy, okay? Avoid high-interest unsecured debt. Maintain emergency liquidity. Ensure clear repayment or revenue plans. Transparency and conservative stress testing mitigate danger. Leverage magnifies up and down. Respect that force. Debt is not a sin, it's a force. It can build or destroy. Be humble and strategic. Evaluate purpose, rate, margin for error. Debt can be weapon or lifeline depending on your handling. Don't moralize all borrowing. Nuance matters. Use strategic leverage, mind interest, term, cash flow projections. Keep liquidity and contingency plans. Seek professional advice. Be skeptical of easy promises. Balance courage and caution. Respect that balance and debt becomes a calculated step toward growth. Think of debt as a tool, not a verdict. With discipline and conservative assumptions, it can accelerate plans. Without discipline, it erodes freedom. Choose leverage where it expands capacity. Avoid where it funds lifestyle. Know your downside before you sign. Optimize for optionality and growth, not appearances. Keep that in mind as you consider any new obligation. There's a mystique around investing, as if it requires secret knowledge or arcane skill. Wall Street keeps that illusion alive. Complexity sells. The democratization of investing changed the game. Low-cost index funds, fractional shares, powerful investing apps make tools available to nearly everyone. Fundamentals are simple. Diversify, minimize fees, keep a long horizon. You don't need a PhD to participate. You need discipline, patience, and humility to avoid market timing. Best investors are steady allocators. They ignore noise and stick to a plan. Contribute regularly and let time work. Teach yourself basics. Start small. Learn allocation, tax-advantaged accounts, and the difference between active and passive. Automate contributions and set rules. If you want guidance, find a competent advisor with simple portfolios. People who started with a few dollars a month built meaningful portfolios over decades. Investing is a marathon. The bar is low. Begin, automate, repeat. Start with low-cost diversified funds and automate transfers. Over years, small steps build financial freedom. Reject the myth. Investing is not only for experts. Hard work is honorable, but the idea that more hours automatically equal more wealth is a trap. There's a crucial difference between effort and leverage, and you should note that. If earnings tie strictly to time, more hours may mean more money. To grow beyond limits, build systems that scale. Investments, teams, intellectual property, automation. 1 hour of code or a recorded course can produce revenue long after the work is done. Skills, capital, and systems amplify results in ways effort alone cannot. Design workflows, delegate tasks, and build assets that produce passive or semi-passive income. Convert finite time into enduring value. Upgrade leverage skills, negotiation, product creation, leadership. Invest time in activities that multiply output. Automate, delegate, productize. Exhaustion alone won't buy freedom. Direct effort towards scalable results. Channel energy into leverage and let the effect compound. That shift often separates those who struggle from those who build lasting wealth. We live in an era of signal. Cars, watches, suits, signal status, and we often confuse signal with substance. Buying expensive things can create an appearance of wealth but conceal fragility, honestly. True wealth is measured by net worth, cash flow, the resources that allow you choices, not by receipts or brand labels. Look beyond surface impressions. There's a difference between consuming status and owning freedom. Appearance costs money. Ongoing costs, maintenance, insurance, attention, and those add up. People who prioritize looks over financial health are asset-rich in public and liability-heavy in private. Conversely, many quietly wealthy individuals choose low-key lifestyles that preserve capital and opportunity. They value independence over applause. Their choices are intentional. They prioritize long-term optionality over short-term sparkle. A flashy purchase gives temporary psychological returns. A well-allocated investment buys time, choices, and freedom. Learn to distinguish consumption for identity from allocation for future security, please. If you want the benefits of wealth, focus on building assets that produce sustained cash flow. Ask, does this purchase increase my options or decrease them? Will this expense compound value or compound? Lie number 8. You are too late to start investing. Starting later changes the math, but it does not end the game. You can increase contributions, extend your horizon where possible, and right-size risk to your reality. In your 20s, time is your edge. 30s, automate raises. 40s, 50s, catch-up contributions. Prioritize tax-advantaged accounts. Every decade had reasons not to invest. Every decade also rewarded those who did and stayed the course. Start now. Today's contribution is the only one you control. Lie number 9. Millionaires take huge risks. Most take calculated risks. Test small. Cap the downside, scale what works. They run pilots, stage rollouts, and write kill rules before they begin. They diversify, maintain cash buffers, and ensure real risks. They think in expected value. Upside times probability, minus downside they can survive. It isn't recklessness. It's pursuing asymmetric bets with survivable losses. Lie number 10. Money cannot buy freedom. Money cannot buy meaning, but financial security can buy time and options. Freedom is optionality, the ability to choose how you spend your days, whom you help, and what you build. A strong safety margin, healthy cash flow, and low obligations increase freedom. When assets cover expenses, your time becomes yours again. Money is a tool. Used well, it helps you buy back your life. Many people remain financially stuck because they believe ideas about money that simply aren't true. Once you challenge these myths, you begin to think about money in a completely different way. Watch the next video to learn the habits of self-made millionaires.